This video is a tutorial for the Full-Time Employee Tracker. This tool is intended to help employers take advantage of the look-back measurement safe harbor method provided by the IRS to determine whether an employee is full-time for purposes of the Employer Shared Responsibility provisions of the Affordable Care Act, or ACA. Under these rules, applicable large employers can be subject to penalties if they do not offer coverage to their full-time employees, or if their coverage is unaffordable or does not provide minimum value. The Employer Shared Responsibility rules are outlined on the background page of the tool, although keep in mind that the information provided is a summary of IRS regulations. This page contains a link to the regulations themselves, as well as a link to IRS Q&As on the Employer Shared Responsibility or Pay or Play rules. The rules for determining whether an employee is a full-time employee and must be offered coverage are also explained on this page. A full-time employee is one that has an average of at least 30 hours of service per week, with 130 hours per month being the monthly equivalent. There are two methods for determining full-time status. The monthly measurement method, where full-time status is determined separately for each month, and the look-back measurement method, which is the method that can be used with this calculator. The look-back measurement method is important because some employers may have trouble determining whether their employers will meet the definition of full-time employee due to variable or inconsistent schedules. The IRS provided this method to help address this issue. The look-back measurement method involves a measurement period for counting hours of service, an administrative period that allows time for enrollment or disenrollment and other administrative functions, and a stability period where coverage is either provided or not, depending on whether the employee works full-time during the measurement period. If the employer meets the requirements of the safe harbor, it will not be liable for penalties for employees who work full-time during the stability period if they did not work full-time during the measurement period. Note that there is transition relief for 2015, where an employer can use a shorter measurement period than usual and still use a stability period of 12 months. We will look more at the specific periods on the next tab, but keep in mind that the calculator does accommodate this rule. Over on the top right side of the page, there is a section with information regarding the applicability dates of the Employer Shared Responsibility rules, including a link to the final regulations that were released in February 2014. This page also includes a note on an important rule in the box with green text. Employees expected to work full-time when they are hired, who are not seasonal employees, cannot have their coverage delayed by use of this safe harbor. They must be offered coverage by the end of the first 3 calendar months of employment to avoid penalties. This additional information text box also includes links to definitions of terms used in the tool, more detailed information on how the look-back measurement method works, how hours of service must be counted, and what to do in certain special situations, like when an employee changes status during the measurement period or leaves and then comes back to work with the employer. Note that this tool is intended to help employers document their use of the look-back measurement method. The methodology provided here is one way to use this method. This tool does not calculate full-time status using the monthly measurement method. Also, results depend on entry of accurate data and may be affected by future guidance. Users must ensure that all information tracked and entered complies with all applicable requirements. The information contained in this tool should not be considered legal advice. To use the tool, click the arrow at the top to move to the next page or select the next tab below. The Plan Information tab is where the user will document the measurement, administrative, and stability periods they are using, along with the plan year. Up at the top, there is a warning in red that all fields must be completed before the information will be displayed correctly. If you enter information in only some of the cells and it looks different than you expect, just finish entering information and all of the dates will calculate correctly. The instructions on the right explain the information that must be entered for each section. In the Plan Information section, use the drop-down menu to indicate whether you intend to use the transition relief, allowing a shortened measurement period for a 12-month stability period that begins in 2015. Enter the start date of the first measurement period, whether the transition relief is being used or not. If you are using the shortened transition measurement period, enter the start date for that measurement period. If not, then enter the date of the first standard measurement period. This information will help the calculator reflect accurate dates for the measurement, administrative, and stability periods. For documentation purposes, you can enter the plan year as well, although this does not affect any calculations. There are separate sections on this page for ongoing employees and new employees. For ongoing employees, you need to enter the parameters for the standard measurement period, whether the transition measurement period is being used or not. This will set the standard measurement period for future years. Enter the length in months of the standard measurement period using the drop-down menu. The rules permit a 3 to 12 month measurement period, but the tool accommodates 6 to 12 months for consistency and ease of administration for employers. Measurement periods of 3 to 5 months add another layer of complexity because they affect the length of the stability period and make it more variable rather than consistent. If you are using the shorter transition measurement period, 12 months will be the only option here to ensure compliance with the transition relief. The start and end date, and anything in dark gray, will automatically populate based on the information entered. Next, enter the number of days of the administrative period. The start and end dates will automatically populate here, which makes it easy to determine the length that is preferred. The standard stability period will automatically match up with the measurement period. When longer measurement periods are used, this will essentially be required because of how the rules overlap. If the transition measurement period is being used, this is where the information will be entered. If you select No that you are not using the transition relief, these fields will not show. The fields for new variable hour and seasonal employees will automatically populate based on the standard measurement period and standard stability period data entered, because these periods will generally have to be the same as the ones for ongoing employees. We have automatically selected a 1-month administrative period for these employees to ensure that employers are within the required parameters. Employers have some flexibility on starting the initial measurement period for new employees. However, this tool automatically starts it on the first day of the month following hire, unless the start date is the first of the month, in which case it starts on that day. This is to make sure that the stability periods for these employees have consistent start and end dates, the first and last day of the month. The next tab shows an illustration of the timeline chosen by the user related to the measurement, administrative, and stability periods. The first two timelines show the first two measurement periods along with their related administrative and stability periods. In our example situation, which involves a calendar year plan, we have our shortened standard measurement period that runs from May 1st, 2014 to October 31st, 2014. Our administrative period then goes from November 1st to the end of the year, which also coincides with our open enrollment period. The stability period, where we offer coverage or not, depending on full-time status during the measurement period, runs concurrently with our plan year, from January 1st until December 31st. The next standard measurement period runs for the full 12 months, from November 1st, 2014 to October 31st, 2015. Our administrative period stays the same, November 1st until the end of the year, and the next stability period is the next calendar year, January 1st, 2016 through December 31st, 2016. Finally, we show a timeline for a sample new employee. This employee's date of hire is June 1st, 2014, which is also when his initial measurement period begins. We also need to begin measuring this employee in the standard measurement period, so there will be some double measuring. The initial administrative period is for 1 month during June of 2015, and then the initial stability period runs from July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2016. The double measuring means that the employee will be assessed at the end of the standard measurement period as well and treated accordingly. Although keep in mind that if the employee was full-time during his initial measurement period, coverage can't be cut off before the end of the initial stability period. Use the arrow or select the tab below to move to the first tracking page, the new variable hour, part-time, seasonal employee page, where employers will track hours of service for these new employees who are hired after the beginning of the standard measurement period. You will need to fill in the employee's name or identifier and the date of hire. The remaining date tabs will fill in automatically and indicate when the initial measurement period, administrative period, and stability periods will start and end, and when the employee's standard measurement period will begin. This helps remind the employer when to begin double measuring to move the employee over to the ongoing employee measurement process. The user will then need to enter total hours of service for each employee for each month during the initial measurement period. The dates of each month will automatically populate based on the information in the Plan Information tab. This allows the employer to enter data each month and then to track how the employee's status is trending during the year. Remember that hours of service include each hour for which an employee is paid for working, as well as hours for which an employee is paid and no duties are performed, such as during vacation, illness, or paid leave. If you can pull reports with this data from another source, such as a payroll system, you can simply copy that data into this tool. The next page shows the results for new variable hour, part-time, and seasonal employees. It will show each employee, provide a reminder of when the standard measurement period should start, indicate the average hours of service during the measurement period, indicate whether the person is a full-time employee based on that average, and repeat the dates for the initial stability period. The action column will note what the employer is supposed to do with that employee during the stability period. For example, offer coverage during the stability period to avoid penalties if the employee averaged full-time hours. The projection column will include information for employees where complete data has not yet been entered for the entire initial measurement period. This information will indicate whether the employee will be a full-time employee if they continue to average the same number of hours per week. This page also includes a status column where the user can indicate any special circumstances for each employee. For example, if the employee has changed status or terminated employment. There is also a notes column, which is designed to let the user keep track of any other relevant information. These two columns are for reference only and do not impact any calculations. The message in red explains how the averaging is done. For a 12-month measurement period, the total hours are divided by 52 rather than 52.14, which is the total number of weeks in a year. Using this higher number provides more aggressive results, and there was concern that the IRS might impose the more strict interpretation. Accordingly, this calculator currently takes the more conservative approach to avoid having employers inadvertently incur penalties based on a more aggressive calculation. Next is the Transition or Period 1 Ongoing Employee page. This page is to track hours for ongoing employees during the first standard measurement period, whether it is a shortened transition period or not. Instructions for entering data are provided in the blue text box on the left, with the dates for the measurement, administrative, and stability periods for ongoing employees listed on the right. The message in red indicates that all information on the Plan Info tab must be entered for this page to populate correctly. Also, if you wish to make any changes to the Plan Information tab, the data entered here has to be cleared first. To track hours for these employees, the user simply has to enter the employee's name or identifier and the hours of service for each month during the standard measurement period. The relevant dates will automatically populate based on data entered in the Plan Information tab. Again, this information can be copied from another source if it's available. The Transition or Period 1 Results page shows the dates of the stability period at the top of the page for reference. It also lists each employee, the average hours of service per week, whether the employee is full-time or not, and then the action the employer should take during the stability period, such as offering coverage. This page also has a projection column, which the employer can use to track the status as the year goes along based on current data. This page also includes the status and notes columns, which do not affect the calculations. The Period 2 Ongoing Employees and Period 2 Results pages are identical to the Period 1 pages, but for future dates. These pages allow employers to use the same overall spreadsheet to track employee status for the next standard measurement period. The dates of the standard measurement, administrative, and stability periods are shown for reference, and the same information, employees and hours of service, must be entered. The Results page again shows the dates of the next stability period and information on the average weekly hours of service, full-time employee status, and employer actions during the stability period. The projection, status, and note sections are available on this page as well. Thank you for viewing this tutorial video. If you have questions or need more information, please contact your broker.